Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? It's KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. We're talking about NXT, January 9th, 2024. Vic Joseph, Booker T on commentary, and we started with a brawl in the parking lot with the Keet Lions and Blair Davenport, because that is the first match of this evening. I like the brawl in I like the brawl in the parking lot because it cuts away to them getting into the ring, and they said they were at this for 20 minutes. I was like, well, during that 20 minutes, did they change into the ring gear? They're like, I'm going to kick your ass and start fighting and be like, okay, hold on. Let's change clothes real quick. All right, presume fighting. Let's go. First match of the night, these two came out swinging. Blair Davenport for the win. Surprised me. I thought Nikita was going to get this, but I was happy. I am digging Blair Davenport more and more as we go along on this journey. Seeing her from when I first started really watching NXT and taking in NXT the way it is. But man, great match to start the night. We got Melo and Trick backstage. They're going to join the Dusty Classic, which starts this evening as well. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tournament, that is. And Melo tells Trick, he's like, hey, man, we're in this. And Trick's like, what? He's looking at this as a take step back because he still has his opportunity against Ilya Dragunov whenever Ilya's coming back, which I feel like is Vengeance Day. I feel like Ilya's taking some time off because he went home with family. There's injury and everything like that, in quotations. But I that's what I think happened is Ilya's just taking some very well time off and go be with his family and stuff like that. So, but I think we'll see Ilya Dragunov back for Vengeance Day, February 4th against Trick Williams. And we'll see how Melo and Trick do in this tournament and everything like that, which I'm finding very interesting on a lot of levels because I just want to see where we go. See where we go with Melo, see where we go with Trick. And will Melo betray Trick in the end of all this? That's what I'm really excited about. All right, first up in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament, we got Gallas versus Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, a tag team that kind of just came together in many ways. And I got to say, I'm very excited to see what these two can do, which they do. They beat Gallas, which I'm kind of like, well, I think Gallas is one of those tag teams that are vicious. They're ruthless, and I feel that they need to be a little bit pushed a little bit more. They're a great group, but I'm just trying to figure out where we're trying to go with Braun and Baron and this odd couple, if you will, of two talents, and they move on, and they're the first ones to move on in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament. Then we have Lola Vice coming out to confront Lyra, who's out there cutting a promo first before Lola comes out with Electra Lopez by her side. Lyra's like, there's many competitors. Who am I going to face at Vengeance Day? Lola comes out. Then, and the confrontation is like, hey, I got this women's breakout tournament contract for a championship anytime I want. And Lyra's like, yeah, but, are you really on my level? So, but Lola and Electra attack Lyra, and here comes Tatum Paxley. Who would have guessed? The crazy one protecting Lyra. So, Tatum is an interesting factor into all this. I think it's just for the numbers game, and we're probably going to see a tag team match next week on NXT. But in all of this, Lyra has announced that there's going to be a 20-woman battle royale. And not your typical battle royale, because you know how those all turn out sometimes. When it gets down to the last 4 of the match, it'll become a fatal 4-way to see who will face Lyra at Vengeance Day. So either we're going to get a tag team match out of what happened with this, or Lola's going to go on to win the fatal 4-way, or somebody else is going to... I'm looking at the roster, I'm like, who... I want Cora Jade or Gigi Dolan. I really like these talents, but we'll see. We shall see how that turns out. Ava's backstage with Dragon, says, hey, I'm really sorry about last week, blah, 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 blah. Here comes Lexus King. Alexa's like, hey, since you're back, you ready to put up that championship? I got my own special contract. Look at this binder that has a gold star on it, because I'm Lexus fucking King. So Dragon's like, fine, bitch, let's do it. So that's our main event this evening. We have the NXT Tag Team Championship match, the Family versus OTM with Scripps. And we have Adriana Rizzo. Now I got her name. For the past couple weeks, she's been coming out. She's really fun. She's a fun character with the family and everything like that, but I never really got her name, and then I finally wrote it down. I was like, I am saying her name. I am saying her name right now. But fun tag team match. OTM showed me a little bit of what they can do, especially with the family, a top tier tag team that they have been in NXT, and this was a fun match. I had a lot of fun with this, but the family got the win, rightfully so. I don't think OTM is ready to hold those championships with scripts and everything like that, so I'm glad the decision was to keep the tag teams on the family, with Rizzo there by their side, and we have Oba Femi backstage interview. He's talking about his men's breakout tournament. He's holding the contract, and here comes Lexus King with his little gold star, binder. Like, look at me, I got a championship. What do you got? You just got that? Huh? You're nothing, kid. You're nothing. Gallas backstage, they're pissed off that they lost and everything like that. And here comes Ridge, and Ridge gets in Joe's face, and Joe, and I love this confrontation between the two because I love their accents, their heavy accents against one another. And I think this is setting up a match for next week. We got Cora Jade versus Gigi Dolan. Cora Jade for the win. Nice, short and sweet. I wanted more, but this is a packed show. Next up in the Dusty Tag Team Classic is Nathan Frazier and Axiom taking on Hank and Tank. Really fun match. Nathan does not stop. That kid is just so fast, along with Axiom. I thought Hank and Tank was going to get this one, but I was surprised. Nathan and Axiom have become the team, and I have been enjoying their backstage segments when Nathan's talking a bunch of shit. Axiom's like, hey, shut up. He's right behind you. But these two win, and they move on, and they're going to face Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, and next week we're going to get more of the first rounds of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, so I'm like, bring it on. Now, the North American Championship on the line with a twist at the end. We have a very back-and-forth battle between Dragon Lee versus Lexus King for the championship. It's back and forth, and Lexus King is like, at first I was like, man, I really want to see this kid go. And the match itself was delivering on those levels of like, okay, with a little bit more polishing, a little bit more matches under his belt. I think Lexus King can be a superstar. Dragon Lee is already a superstar. We've seen it on the main roster. We're seeing it here. And after beating Lexus King, he wins. He's the champion. We go off air, right? No. Oba Femi comes out with his contract, and he brings a ref with him as well. And he's like, we're doing this right now. So then it becomes Dragon Lee versus Oba for the North American Championship. And guess what? We have a new, and I say new, North American champion, and that's Oba Femi. Holy shit, I didn't expect this, so I'm excited. That North American Championship is something that I'm like, okay, let's Oba's a big, meaty man. And I want to see what he could do. Very young, he's hungry. You can see it in his eyes. But he took out Dragon Lee, and hopefully this puts Dragon Lee back into the main rosters of things and stuff like that. And we have Bear Hill, who came out during Dragon Lee and Lexus King's match. Bear Hill, the pissed off native, who's pissed off at Lexus King coming out there, distracting Lexus for a bit. But man, what a night. I got to say, my favorite match of the night was Gallas and Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. Just an odd couple. Nikita Lyons and Blair Davenport was really fun. The Nathan Frazier and Axiom versus Hank and Tank, man, that was a great match in the main event itself. But overall, I give this a solid 5 out of 5. And I got to speak on this just because I got to speak on this. And I know this is a WWE show, but this involves a WWE superstar that's on the roster that got, not shit talked, but yeah, shit talk from Tony Khan. Okay, Tony, I don't understand. Like, he goes on X and whatnot, and he puts out there like, oh, Jinder Mahal, who's been losing 365 days of the year, well, he's lost all his matches and stuff like that, gets the title shot next week. Oh, way to go, WWE. Look, I'm so clever. And I'm just like, huh. And he talks about Hook, and Tony mentions Hook and everything like that, but I say the best response after Jinder's really not been on X or social media, really, goes on and says, who the fuck is Hook? Question mark. And I was like, Damn. But Jinder Mahal, I am excited for his match. And yeah, Tony's has some things like, it's been a long time since this dude has really been anything in the main storyline, and he automatically gets a championship. But also, too, it goes on to Seth Rollins' side of things of being, he is a champion that's willing to fight anyone and everyone, wherever, whenever, and he took on this challenge to take on Jinder Mahal, and hopefully we get a really great classic match between these two, because I honestly, I thought Jinder's title run the first time was okay, and I could see him getting back to that level of being that top star. When they made him a manager and everything like that, I was kind of like, okay, sure, I guess, but he's talented on the mic, he's talented in the ring. We'll see what happens next week. But Tony Khan, I want to know everyone's comments on this. What do you feel about good old Tony trying to shit on WWE any chance he can? And, talking about ratings, talking about this, especially bringing up a superstar like Jinder Mahal, just to bring him up and be like, oh, look at his fails and accomplishments, huh? I'm over here booking great things. Look at what I can do because I'm Tony. He is becoming the person that he hated the most. He's becoming the Vince McMahon of AEW. But the problem is the difference is Vince McMahon would never do this. Vince McMahon was a little bit more keep it to the chest, and he'll do business and not talk shit online. That's what Vince McMahon will do, and we're not living in the Vince McMahon era. I don't see Triple H going, Triple H has said some things and comments and stuff like that, but he's never publicly been like, fuck you, Tony, And, we've had the Piss Ant Company comments before, but that's just a thing that's going to happen. It's competition, man. We're in an era of competition between AEW and WWE, and look what we have. We have 3 shows for each brand, And yes, NXT is the developmental show. It's, we're building these new superstars to bring them up to the main roster. And it's just funny to me that Tony had to go on X and whatnot to try to beat down Jinder Mahal, but Jinder Mahal getting like, who the fuck is Hook? And, bringing up Hook, too. Like, I don't know how Hook feels about that because, I know Hook gives no fucks, but damn, bruh. Hook is good for what he can do in AEW. So we'll see what happens tonight on Dynamite. All right, y'all. That's it. That's all. I'm K&B, the Sexy Ninja. Drop those comments below. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. Share with your grandma. Share with your grandpa. Share with the bum down at Walmart. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
You are Tiffany Stratton. You can do this. I'm gonna erase the save from my memory. I am Tiffany Stratton.